Hey guys, LinkFrostimus here. Welcome to my new low effort series, a series in which I put in minimal effort to making a video so that I can have a video on a specific Transformer out faster than anybody else. Which is ironic calling it low effort because I'm still going to be putting in way more effort than all the other Transformers toy channels out there. So earlier this year I went to Osaka to go to the Transformers 40th anniversary exhibit and to snag that exclusive Bumblebee figure to make a video on it that nobody watched. And in that video I did say it was disappointing that the event exclusive figure was just a small core class figure. I guess Takara heard me. Because they announced they'll also be holding the exhibit in Tokyo, and there and only there will they be selling 3 additional cooler exclusives. And a chair. I didn't get the chair. This would have been nice to know beforehand because I live in Kanto and that would have saved me a whole ass trip to Kansai, but I want to flex. So one of the exclusives is the subject of today's video, Starscream! Super Mode. So this figure is a repaint of the legacy Voyager class Armada universe Starscream, which is supposed to represent his transformation in the anime, going from red to blue, in which Takara calls this his Super Mode, even though he's just ripping off Thundercracker's paint job. Okay, first, attention must be brought to the box because it is such a beautiful callback to the Takara packaging of Armada toys. We got the beautiful product shots in the front with both modes, followed by the Transformers Legacy EX Koku Sambo Starscream Super Mode in that nostalgic early 2000s font. Then we got messages on the side, more product shots in the back that are reminiscent of that era. Then we got the sides of the box, one showing his iconic pose of his sacrifice in the anime, and then on the top of the box, Chorobot Seimeitai Transformer Micron Densetsu. You know what anime this is, bitch! Even the instructions are different too. Okay, toy time. Here's what I think is supposed to be a Cybertronian Jet Mode, which totally looks like an Earth jet, but who cares? Not me. I don't remember anything about Transformers Armada. As a design though, this is a pretty cool jet. That silhouette especially rocks. Look at that. It's just a sick ass jet. I love the vent details underneath the jet and the fins on the side of the cockpit, and the tail fins being on the side instead of on the top of the jet really gives the shape of this thing some awesome personality. But what about the color? Well, let me be honest here. Raise your hand if G1 Thundercracker is your favorite Seeker. No one, that's who! In a world where Starscream has the iconic color scheme and Skywarp has the best color scheme, there is absolutely no one in existence who has looked at the uninspiring all light blue color of Thundercracker and went, yep, this was my favorite. The little bits of contrast he does have is so minimal, so by default he is the worst. So thank God that Armada says, hold up, this is how you do a Thundercracker color scheme. Oh, look at that abundance of red stripes along the wings. We got a deep blue and beautiful plastic contrasted with the bits of light blue. And we got some shiny silver and gunmetal gray to give this guy a premium look. I really dig this color scheme. Finally, a Thundercracker that's visually interesting. Oh wait, this is Starscream. So I like how it looks, but there's also things that annoy me. You can tell these things are clearly his arms just scrunched up. This is stupid. Also, his nose cone connection is weak. Starscream can't keep it up all the time, so I'm sure Megatron is disappointed. Also, Takara, honey, you're gonna upcharge a Voyager figure with a better deco, but still find a way to fumble on the application? There is a lot of paint bleeding, and I noticed the Decepticon insignias on his wings aren't symmetrical. I am not crazy. See for yourself. The biggest issue I have with this figure, not the deco though, is the painfully visible head. This is part of his design. But maybe the designer should have thought, hey, maybe we shouldn't have made this part of a design because it's stupid. What's the point of saying robots in disguise when we can see their stupid peekaboo ass head in their disguise? Oh, but you want to know how to really ruin the look of this jet? Deploy the no-ray cannons. Oh, this is gross. It went from a pretty cool silhouette with these acting like thrusters to big, obnoxious, fuck-off cannons that ruin his silhouette. I don't like this look. It should have been underneath the wings to make him look more natural. It's too bad I was like 2 when they were designing this, and also I didn't know Japanese then, so there was no way for me to contribute back then. But now that I know Japanese, kore o yamete. Arigato. You can plug in the effect parts to obstruct these things even more. And as for weapon storage, you can plug in the swords underneath the wings. Woohoo! And that's pretty much the jet. The bottom also has a flight stand port so you can get it in the air, and that's cool. And yeah, this thing's cool. Not perfect, but cool. Takara, you really should have painted this guy precisely though. How do you keep fumbling this? Anyways, let's transform him. Whoa, look at that robot mode. Like with Optimus, Armada does an awesome update to Starscream's classic design, and that color scheme is brought into full force here, with the amount of light blue parts increasing and that yellow cockpit being the key outlier here. I actually grew up with the original Armada Starscream toys, so not being able to push in the cockpit and hear sounds actually kinda hurts my soul. The cockpit is also really bringing out the cock of its name, kinda looking like a third leg for our boy. I don't like this. I don't like his waist either. That thing is like 10 centimeters in diameter, and I thought Brave Commander Optimus Prime had a slutty waist, but everything else, I dig. The callbacks to his G1 designs include his cockpit torso, minus the cock, the back wings looking hella swish, and the helmet. The helmet is pretty much the G1 helmet, just redesigned a little bit. And hey, it looked cool back then, so it looks cool here. Just not a fan of the face. Now the pink is bold. I love it. It's stylish and really complements the flashy silver eyes, but it looks too fleshy. And I'm not the biggest fan of my robots in disguise looking like they have human faces. Speaking of color though, the shiny bits really add some stellar highlights in his chest, shoulders, fist, knees, and feet. I did give him shit for the shitty paint jobs, but this paint in particular is beautiful. And when it hits the light, Ooh, that's hot. So the sculpt overall is pretty cool. His sculpted detail is great. He's accurate to the anime. He's got a nice presence, but I'm gonna say something extremely controversial and say the one thing I absolutely do not like about his design, his null ray cannons. I don't care what anybody says, these things look obnoxious as hell. They really feel like they get in the way and also ruin his otherwise perfect profile and back. It sucks to see his back have pretty nice detail, only for it to be cock-blocked by the two cocks he's carrying on his back. And if you fold back the wings, I would say it fixes his profile, but then it ruins his front silhouette. And you just can't have Starscream without his back wings fanned out.
That's illegal.
So like the jet, you can deploy them to have and wield them as shoulder cannons, and again, I don't like this. They feel so obstructive and like trying so hard to look cool. Maybe with added color to differentiate the detail and making them thicker would have been cool, but with how it is, I'm just not a fan. They butchered his null rays, and that's a shame. Thankfully, at least this guy comes with some effect parts, solely to recreate that shot of his final moments in life when he absolutely shoots the shit out of Unicron. And not gonna lie, having him pose like this with the effect parts on him actually looks pretty cool. It really brings out the severity of this desperate move to try and get the Autobots and Decepticons to work together to face the true enemy. Sorry, I'm tearing up. What are the weapons he got? Two swords, one being the wing blade and the other being the star saber. First, the wing blade. On the original toy, the wing blade was actually a part of the wing that you took out and folded out to become a sword, hence the name. Here, they didn't engineer it and decided to include it as a separate piece. And the fact that it's coated in this shade of pink really doesn't do the anime justice. This looks horrendous. As for the star saber, it's not horrendous, but I don't 100% like it. But at least it looks like a real sword. The hilt is cool, and the colors of it all, especially the blade itself, really makes this thing look like it's glowing with energy. The thing I don't like is the blade itself. The star saber in Armada is actually composed of 3 minicons combining into a sword, and I don't think you can convince me that the blade of a sword being 2 airplanes rubbing their butts together is cool. And taking a closer look at the detail actually kind of takes me out of the immersion of it being a sword. But you know what? Having him double wield these things is a pretty great look, not gonna lie. When has dual wielding swords not looked cool? And the best part, he can put these things to action. No really, he's got pretty nice posability. The only thing that's weak is his waist swivel and head range, but everything else is pretty great. They even gave him added shoulder articulation, which is awesome. He's your average Voyager size, he can get in some nice poses, and he's pretty cool. Honestly, I wasn't a big fan of the toy itself. I wasn't gonna get it, but the fact that this is an exclusive that's being sold in the country that I live in just made me go, okay, maybe I should get him. I could forgive his tiny waist if it wasn't for his obstructive cannons, so for now I'll just say that this is a cool figure. Wait, I just found out that you can bring the cannons down like this to line up along his back, and this fixes everything. Actually, he's pretty peak. So yeah, Takara's Super Mode Starscream is pretty cool. I do like the new color scheme as it gives him a new flavor. The box calling back to the old Japanese Armada toys is awesome, and finally I have effect parts that I can use for my other figures. But do I recommend him? Well, realistically, if online retailers carry him, I'm assuming they're going to sell him for $70. And paying double the price of a Voyager for just one Voyager in a different coat of paint, a different box, and extra effect parts just straight up isn't worth it. So I would say no, unless you're a super fan of Armada Starscream. If you have the regular one though, I'd say he's fine by himself. And hey, you can admire this guy again and again by rewatching this video and hitting that subscribe button and checking out my other super cool videos. Before I go though, a message. People fight. Shit happens. That's inevitable. And that's life. Things can get ugly, but it can get better. And I'm not saying to throw your life away like how Starscream did, but if you want something to change, sometimes all it takes, no matter how small of a difference you may think it will be, is, well, you. Wait, what the fuck? His light blue parts were supposed to be shiny? I take it back, 0 out of 10.